decided to join us this morning. Excuse me. Glad you guys decided to join us this morning and get this thing fired off. So I think we have a couple of, I don't know if Matt's been on here before. So what we're going to do, guys, is the same thing we did last week. I think there was a lot that came out of that. We got a couple more people on. And we're going to go through the process. This only takes about 20, 25 minutes. I want to make this more interactive than anything else. So I know you guys will go through the process, and then all of a sudden you get a new teammate to come on, and then the lights are on you, and you go, oh my God, what am I supposed to be doing in this situation? Of course, we're here to support you. All right. So what we're going to cover today is process, website, the difference in commission. We'll talk briefly about prosperity. And for those of you guys, just so you know, for those of you guys that are looking for the new Freedom Term product that's with Prosperity, we're still trying to work through the, I guess, the spider webs, if you will, to try to figure out what you need to add in there for the back end compensation. Because even though that's a term product, apparently it has a trail. So we're trying to get solid information about that. Amy has sent some information out, but we're just trying to clarify it. We'll talk about Slack briefly, E&O, Bootcamp, AML, and then work spots in no particular order. So I'm going to start off really quickly, briefly, because it's right here in my face. Web CE, if you're getting started or you have CE that needs to be done, go to Web CE. It's simply webce.com. It's also on the FFL Genesis website. So you can go on there, you can complete it. It doesn't take you that long. And that Web CE will work for all the other carriers that we have outside of Prosperity. Actually, I think Prosperity takes it now too. But Prosperity is the only one, if you don't have Prosperity yet, that will take all of the other carriers will accept Web CE. It's anywhere from $9.50 up to $15. Just to let you guys know that resource is out there. Again, it's on our website, which I'll show you here in just a few seconds. Before I go into video, I'll cover these other couple things. Commission-wise, when you're bringing new teammates on, anywhere between 10, 15, I'd say as high as 20% if you're going to be buying leads for someone. If you're buying leads for them or helping them get started, I think 20% is kosher. But what you want to do is make sure that you're putting a buffer in there to let them know, hey, when you issue pay your first 15 or 20,000, we're going to bump you up another 5%. That's why Sean gave us the high comp. And in my opinion and leadership's opinion, that's why we should give it back. So any questions there as we move forward? All right. So here's a quick question. When you get your new person on and all that kind of stuff, when should you add that new person to Slack?
Immediately.
Absolutely. Great answer. Add them to Slack immediately. Amy, I don't know if you got dogs barking. Can you talk about when people are added to Slack on time or when they're added after they've passed the test and after all those kinds of things?
Yeah, it just makes sense to get them started right in the beginning. There's so much information that they're going to receive. We do most of our communication through Slack or email, but most of the time, if I have a question about contracting or onboarding, I'm going to try to find them in Slack. If they're not there, I'll probably reach out to the direct upline to make sure that they're there. Sometimes they just don't know to check their email. It goes to their junk mail. The invitation for Slack goes to their junk sometimes. So I would just make sure that they're aware of that so that they can check that and get added to Slack right away. There are still plenty of people on our team that are not in Slack. So just check with your active agents, especially, to make sure that they are.
Yeah. And thank you,
Hey,
Amy.
Corey.
You put you on the spot. Yes, sir.
Can you talk about the importance of making sure that you get them onboarded? And I say this because sometimes they'll talk to you and then they'll talk to somebody else, and whoever puts them in there first. Can you talk about that?
100%. So this is the first of all, Gregory, that's a fantastic statement question. So what Gregory is directly speaking to, guys, is when you get a new agent that starts, okay, new teammate, you're talking to them, and FFL is a big place, hiring over 1,100 people, or I should say bringing over 1,100 people a week into FFL. So think about that. Somebody that you've thought about talking to or whatever the case is, if you're thinking about it, talk to them. Because I'm telling you straight up, someone else is going to reach out to them and you're going to be like, you're going to see them on a leaderboard and you're going to go, oh my God, I meant to talk to that person. I've known that person half my life. Guys, it happens. We just had it happen a couple of weeks ago here. It happens. Michael's shaking his head.
It happened to me twice.
Well, and so think about this, guys. So when that standpoint, how would you feel if that person, you didn't introduce them to the opportunity, somebody else does, they come on here and they're killing it, right? Not just from a financial standpoint from you, but somebody you care about, a family member or friend or somebody that's your business contact that's doing really well here. I'm sure you will have them doing really well with you as opposed to someplace else. So to Gregory's statement question, this is why it's important. When you talk to that person and they say, yes, I'm ready to go, it's imperative that you fill out the onboarding form. The reason why you want to get that filled out is as soon as it's filled out and it comes to us, Amy stops almost everything she's doing. I don't know if people realize how much she does, but Amy stops everything she's doing and enters that person into the FFL home office system. So essentially what's happening is we're stapling that person to us, so that if somebody else comes in after and tries to add them to the system, it'll block them and you are protected from somebody trying to take that agent from you. That's the only real thing here at FFL that you can do to make sure that you're taken care of or protected from somebody trying to take your agent. Gregory, was that the question that you or statement that you wanted to make?
Exactly, buddy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, because it's, guys, I can't tell you, that's probably the single most important thing. And that's why you hear us. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Slack's so busy, I don't like Slack. Guys, would you rather your people be getting text, email, Slack, all the other forms that can be smokescreen, Paul Revere, like, would you rather that, or they just have one simple line of communication that it goes through? So you know everything that they need is all in one location as opposed to 4 or 5. And I don't know, did it get Slack? Did it get text? Did it get email? Right? That's what we try to use Slack for everything. It just makes common sense, right? Thanks for bringing that up, Gregory, because that's important and it fits in everything that we'll talk about today. Anybody have any questions as we move through? Okay, perfect. So E&O, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Tim, you got something? Like you got something to say, brother. You're zoned in. Great job this morning, by the way. Seriously, you crushed it this morning. Appreciate you. All right, I'm going to share my screen here really quick, y'all. All righty. So I'm going to go ahead. This is our website, of course, for those of you guys that don't know. Again, on the top right-hand portion of the screen there, I got some other videos that'll be coming out. Looks like we might be snowed in here for a couple of days, so you guys will see some more stuff. Top right-hand corner there, when I click on that, that's going to take you to our YouTube link. This was created by our leadership team, so for the agents, by the agents, and it's different trainings and stuff that are out there. So these meetings are recorded, etc. But one of the things that we created this for is to help you guys if you're not sure. You know, maybe you don't want to come back to your leadership person and you're like, man, I've asked that question 3 or 4 times before. I don't want to ask it again. This is a great resource for your agents. If there's stuff that you guys want to see out here, just let us know. We'll do a recording, try to keep it short and those kind of things, because we know people have short attention spans, but we have all those things out here to try to help you guys. So I think Gregory does some of the best explanation, if you will, of IULs, especially with Mutual of Omaha. You know, we have that out here. So if you come out here and type in FFL Genesis, IUL, Gregory Pitts, or whatever the case, something in there, we put it in the title line. So it's easy for you to find. There's a lot. I get comments and stuff all the time for people that aren't even on our team that are in other places that are saying, man, these videos really help my uplines, blah, 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 you know, those kind of things. So we want to make sure that we're providing you guys with every resource we can, obviously, for you to win, right? That's the first thing. So as we scroll down the page here on our website, again, this is created by us, for us, right? And I'm going to stop here really quickly. So if you're already licensed with us, or you have an agent that's come on that's already licensed and they want to get licensed in another state, here's all the requirements. So you don't have to reach out to Amy. You don't have to reach out to your direct upline. Here's all 50 or 51 states, depends on who you are or what you were taught in elementary school. But all the states, it shows you exactly what you have to do to get licensed in certain states. Florida is one of those weird states, right? A lot of us are licensed in Florida, but you get licensed in Florida, but it's in a county. And then when you start writing business in that other county, they just go ahead and turn that county on. Kind of weird, but that's how they do stuff there, right? The other thing is boot camp. I'm going to talk about that since it's right in front of me. Once you get that person on board, they've taken the exam, they've applied for their license. While they're waiting for their license to come back, have them come out and complete boot camp. It's very, very simple. This link is always out there. It's always going to work. And then you can just simply have them come out here and get set up with boot camp. By the time they get through this, they should have their license. Shouldn't take but a few days. And then you can actually start having them get appointed. Anybody have any questions about boot camp? Not a lot of people can do the boot camp, which doesn't make any sense to me at all, because it's just going to help them. It's going to help you get ahead of the curve, if you will, and help them as well, really. So a couple things that have been added to the website. obviously you guys know, and you can tell by our numbers, we don't necessarily push one company. They want us to, sell Americo exclusively. But I'll tell you guys, and we had a VP meeting, I think Tim was on earlier this week, where they were talking about Americo, and there was a couple of people on there, myself included, that said, we're going to teach our agents, coach our agents to work with the best product, not just a specific carrier all the time. And there's a lot of stuff that goes behind that, but that's that. So there is an Americo site that was generated just for us by Americo, which has a lot of great resources on it. And Mark trained last week, which we didn't record, so I'll get that out there. I'll try to get it out there this weekend, about the new texting process with Americo. So make sure your new agents, your new teammates know about that as well. It's just another great feature, right? All right. So I'm going to slide down here really quick, see if I can find it. On the bottom left-hand portion of the screen, you can see WebCE. That's the anti-money laundering stuff that we were just talking about. And then on the far right-hand side, this is for E&O. So a lot of you guys are starting to come up with your, E&O that's coming up, because I'm getting a lot of the emails. So this is a great place to go, and it's not very expensive. Anybody have any questions so far? Because we're motoring through this pretty quick. All right, so let's do just a quick question here to get you guys back engaged and back involved. Can anybody explain to me, can you explain to me what WorkSpots is and how it works?
It's
Michael?
like it's basically like an app that you download that pretty much gives you access to office space like near you, specifically with what we do and stuff like that, and things. But another thing that's really, really useful for it is the various discounts that come with it. So one of the most recognized ones that you guys probably see in Slack is the leads discount in the CRM and stuff like that. That's the very common one, but some of them that you guys probably don't know about is like enterprise discount. I'm 24, so me getting a rental under 25 is just really expensive. I can use the discount through that, so I don't have to pay the under $25 fee and stuff like that. So it's a bunch of discounts, very useful, pays for itself, makes this job a lot easier to use. So
very, very well said, Michael. Thank you. You covered that perfectly. There's a bunch of other discounts on there as well. If you go out to the app, the main one that Michael mentioned, just being under the age of 25, a lot of rental car places don't want to rent you a car. They just don't. And the insurance is included in that automatically, just because they move so much volume through us. But WorkSpots is a great thing. First of all, guys, it's a write-off. The first lead discount you get is probably going to cover that anyway. Second thing, thank you, Michael, very much for participating there. The next thing I want to mention in reference to boot camp, when they complete boot camp, they're going to get a 30% discount on their first lead order. And you're going to know that they watched, because even if you forget to mention it, it's in the first couple of videos. And most people are going to ask about that. So that's part of the reason how you're going to know if they've completed it or not. And it really does help you get through that. So as we go through the last couple of things, any questions so far? Believe it or not, guys, we're about a little more than halfway through this.
Hey, Corey, just to
Yes.
Specify for the boot camp, they have to complete it in 2 weeks to get that discount, right?
Yes, ma'am. That is
Okay.
exactly right. Yep. Glad you brought that up. Yeah, because that completely escaped my mind. That's what iron sharpens iron. Appreciate you, Renee. That is exactly right. So get it done in the first 2 weeks. There's a email that you'll email your certificate. Email that certificate in, and they'll send you a discount for your first lead order of 30% off. And as Michael mentioned a little bit ago with WorkSpots, there's different discounts right now. There's a 30% off or 35% off for instant, and I think 1 month old leads. They'll mix them up wherever they have an abundance.
it was
I know.
new,
Say it again.
It's
New.
instant and
Thank you.
internet. Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. So just know that that's out there for you guys, and it's a no-brainer if you're using the CRM. Like you're wasting money not having it, and you're going to write it off anyway. Let's see, 10 days. Is it 10 days? No, it's a full 14 days. You got 14 days, Cecile. Great question, by the way. All right, so far, guys, we've covered the website, a couple things on there. We've covered compensation. We've covered Slack. I'm not going to cover how to add someone to Slack on here. Work with your upline. If you guys have issues, reach out to me directly. I'm happy to make a video or walk you through it. It's not very difficult. We talked about boot camp, AML, WorkSpots. Amy, anything that you have to add before we go over the full process?
No, I'm good.
Okay, perfect. Appreciate it. Let's see. When you guys have new agents that are coming on, or you're asking for new or requesting new agent codes, please make sure to have your agents enter them into HCMS. If you don't, Amy will never say this, I will. It causes a cluster. Because then what Amy has to do, they can only make changes at home office. And you guys really need to understand this as you're building organizations. If that information is not in HCMS, okay, when she goes out there, if you say, hey, Michael, congratulations, you hit X dollar, we're going to push you up 5% or promote you up 5%. If she goes in there and your agent codes aren't there, she has to do that 2 or 3 or 4 times. Or what I've instructed her to do is if the people don't have their agent codes in there, don't do anything until they get all their agent codes in there. And I can tell you guys, just being part of corporate America and being a C-suite executive at a couple of different organizations, I'm telling you guys what's going to start to happen with home office, because they're always so backed up. You don't have your stuff in HCMS, they're just going to say you're not going to get paid. I'm telling you that's going to happen. So you may as well be ahead of it. Go ahead.
What I do is I don't know who has what. I have no way of knowing which carriers you have, because obviously not all carriers can be put into HCMS. Obviously Prosperity I have to do, UHL I have to do, and the other ones like NLG,
Royal Liberty, UHL, Gerber, CFG. Yeah.
Some of those don't go in there. Royal Neighbors does go in there. There are some that do and some that don't. Even the main carriers. I don't know. Some of you can't or don't get all of them. So when I go in there, I don't look to see what's in there and be like, oh, well, I think they might have this or that. If I'm instructed to do a comp increase or a hierarchy change, I go in and I do the comp increase and the hierarchy change. I'm not looking at your carriers. I'm not, trying to figure out, oh, maybe they have this one. So, no, I do my job, and your job is to make sure that your carriers are in there all the time. Like, I don't reach out to you when you're getting a comp increase or a hierarchy change and be like, hey, make sure your numbers are in there. I think we talk about it enough for you guys to know that you need to do that regularly. Everybody today, go out and check to make sure as many numbers in there are there that can be. If you think something should be in there that it's not, ask me. I may have to enter it for you. So,
and
I just don't double check. I do my part. So, you got to do yours too.
Go ahead, Renee. Thank you, Amy.
I just wanted to add something that Amy shouldn't have to by now. That welcome email that you get shows you step-by-step how to add a carrier to HCMS. So just go back to that document if you need assistance on how to add that.
And there's also a link to a video in that document. There's a link to a video.
Yeah.
There's videos on, the Genesis website. The information is out there. You can always ask your upline, hey, how do I add this? Reach out to me. I would rather you reach out to me and say, how do I add this, than not to do it at all. And then you miss out on getting a comp increase. Say if you don't have American Amicable and HCMS and we do a comp increase, they won't get notified that your comp is going up, which means with AMAM, you're going to stay at the comp level that you were. And then when you realize that, then I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to have to do a comp increase. There's paperwork that has to be done through me, through corporate. So it's just more work that needs to be done. So just make sure your numbers are in there.
As business owners, just make sure, I think you guys are getting the point. Just make sure that you're adding your codes into HCMS, the ones that you're supposed to. And anytime a new license code comes through me, I always email it back out to you and say, hey, Amy's going to put this in the system, or make sure you get this entered into HCMS, because I'm telling you guys, if you do it on the front end, just like anything else, take care of it, do it on the front end. It's not that big a deal. Go out there. We got the full video series on our website where you can go. Most of those videos are 90 seconds long. It doesn't take that long. And if you have you have new people coming on, they're going to be asking those questions. You need to be able to say, this is where you go, right? Plainly said. So appreciate that. Thanks, Renee. Thanks, Amy, for sure. So really quick, guys, before we wrap up, I just want to make sure, because we still have some people that are doing this. I'm going to share my screen one last time, just to make sure we're all on the same page here. When you have a new agent that's starting, well, first of all, here's all the videos for HCMS. It's literally under HCMS onboard training. These videos are very short, except for the bottom 2, but these videos are very short. I think the longest one might be 2 minutes, maybe. Okay. The other part of this that we're discussing and talking about, let's see if I can find it here really quick, is the onboarding form. So when you go out here and click this, you get your new person that's getting started and you completing the onboarding form. This is for you to fill out, not your new potential agent. Make sure you're the person that's filling this out, because they don't have all of your information. They don't have all of your stuff. They don't have any of that. So this is for you to fill out. If you have any questions about that, let us know. And then we'll move forward from there. If you would like to create your own code, right, for hiring, I'm just simply going to click on this really quick. The IMO stuff. If I put my first name, last name, email, and phone number in there, it's going to generate a code for me, right? That code can then be used. It will look just like this. Sorry for the swiping of the screen, but it'll look like this, except it'll have your name at the top of it. Some of us have gone as far as going to GoDaddy. And if you guys want help with this, if you reach out to me separately, I'll literally get on Zoom and walk you through the entire process. It'll take us 10 minutes. But you can create like Renee has, I think a couple of other people have. So you don't have this giant long, plus and minus signs and forward slashes and all that, where it'll be whatever your agency is. So FFL Good Life, that kind of stuff, or find out more about FFL Good Life, whatever you want to create. Looks more professional, right? But your name is at the top. What happens then is when you send this information to your potential agent, when they click get access, they're going to put their first name, last name, state, email, phone number. When they hit submit, it's going to play a video for them, which most of you guys have seen at this point. And it's going to send a notification to you via email, letting you know that that person has started to watch the video. Give them about 16, 17 minutes, and then you can reach back out to them and then have your conversation there. Now, I will say this again. Anybody have any questions about this? I don't think most of us have seen this or know how to do that at this point. But if you guys need any help, let us know. I'm happy to walk through that information with you guys. 100%. All right. So let me see here. Work spots, AML, bootcamp, E&O, Slack, compensation, website. And now we're going to cover the process from top to bottom, because this is where things start to get a little bit crazy. As Renee mentioned, when you have a new agent that's starting, this comes out in an email to them, the new agent onboarding. I've already started to work on some of the videos to get uploaded for just breaking it down into pieces. So that's going to take some time, just trying to get all those things cleaned up and get it in a clean format, but that will happen. If you have your new teammates, first of all, if you haven't read through this, just read through it, guys. It literally takes you through step by step. It's not complicated. And if your new agents follow this steps 1 through whatever, they're going to be much more beneficial for themselves. And it's going to take you a whole lot less time to get them on board. I can tell you a very high percentage of people aren't even looking at this. I can tell you they're not, because of some of the things that they're doing. Okay. Help yourself out there. Help your new teammates out. All right. So you are at a restaurant and you've talked to Mr. or Mrs. Smith. They did a great job. You asked them if they keep their options open. They said yes. You have a conversation about what we do. You send them the video. They watch the video. You get back with them. You go through the interview process. And I'm going to throw an asterisk out there. I will help you guys do every interview that you have, every single one of them. I'm happy to do it, whether it's in person at the office or via Zoom. I don't care where they're at. If it's 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, I'm happy to do it. Okay. There is a science to hiring, if you will, or just giving the job away. We don't want to do that. So you've gone through the information, you've sent them the video, they've watched it. And let's say said person is Miss Smith is not licensed, but she's ready to rock and roll. What happens is you're going to complete the form, right? You're going to solve the onboarding form that we just went over. You're going to complete that information. It's going to come in and Amy's going to send, or if you're doing it yourself, you're going to send out the welcome email that we just discussed. That welcome email will have a discount code for Excel Solutions. Now, I highly recommend, if you haven't done it, just go to excelsolutions.com. I believe it's .com. Go out there, walk yourself through the process. If somebody wants me to do that, I'm happy to do that with you. It's very simple. But I would walk a new person through that. Otherwise, they're going to come back after the fact and ask you how to do it. Just share it on the screen. It takes 10 seconds. Once you show them, you'll be good to go. Okay. Here's the other part that we talk about all the time. And we literally, I sent about 40 messages to people yesterday. I think I only got 3 or 4 people that responded back. One person responded back and said, yeah, I haven't talked to, and I'm not going to say who it is. I haven't talked to my upline, but I am in process of working through some stuff. I think I sent Amy, I think I told you about the one. The person said, I'm struggling right now. Excuse me. I'm struggling right now. I'm terrible on the phones and I really need some help. And I said, well, reach out to me or, somebody else here, reach back out to your direct upline. That shouldn't happen. You shouldn't chase people, but that shouldn't happen if somebody's making the effort, right? Give them 2 weeks. I know we talk about this all the time. Guys, if you give them more than 2 weeks to get through this coursework, 94% of them aren't coming. So don't try to beat the math or the science. They're just not coming. And if, as Tim says all the time, if they don't see it, keep moving. It's okay. There's tons of people out there that want this opportunity just like you did. Okay. Non-licensed, you're going to send them the stuff. You're going to give them 2 weeks. You're going to walk them through Excel. You're going to stay in contact with them. I've also sent the link out so you can actually log in and look and see where their process is through Excel. It doesn't get any easier. Anybody have any questions about the non-licensed? Perfect. So licensed person, same process. You've gone through. Mr. Smith decides he wants to join us. You just so happen that find out that he is licensed and all that kind of stuff. Fantastic. Same process. You're going to send all the information in, make sure that you have their NPN number and all that, because you have to have that in order to activate HCMS, which Amy does. First email they're going to get is for HCMS. The second one they're going to get is to let them know that they've completed the HCMS onboarding process. And the third email will have information for Assurance Bay. Okay. Once they get all that done, they're going to click on the link for Assurance Bay. And I know we say this all the time. I don't hear Amy say this as much. So that sounds like we're improving, or she's just not saying it anymore. They only need to apply for these 3 carriers in Assurance Bay: Americo, AIG, Mutual of Omaha. That's it. They don't need to apply for it. They're going to see all the other carriers. I call them the big 3, so I don't forget them: Americo, AIG, Mutual of Omaha. You will then send them the code on your own for Prosperity. You'll need to send that out to them. And we have a video, I think, on YouTube for that as well. So you're going to send them out that's going to give them 4 carriers to get started, right? They should get AIG, Mutual of Omaha pretty quick. Americo comes pretty quickly as well, as long as they do everything they're supposed to. Then they're going to go back to HCMS. And in the HCMS system, they're going to apply for AMAM, Foresters, Aetna, John Hancock, Transamerica, and Great Western. That is it. Now they're going to see all the other carriers and all that kind of stuff out there. I'm telling you guys, every day I get a notice that somebody's being turned from a carrier because they didn't write with them. That gives a new agent 10 carriers to get started with. And to be completely honest with you, Mark wrote over 200 grand. Tim wrote right at $200,000 last year. And if I were to ask those gentlemen, I guarantee you, they would tell you they probably use 4 to 6 carriers. So there's a couple of
Let me throw
examples
this out there too, Corey.
Go ahead, please do.
So guys, there's companies out there like Old American who only sell Old American. That's it. There's no other. They don't have 4 or 5 carriers. They just have 1 carrier. Now they're limited to some degree, obviously, but the thing of it is you do not need, all the carriers. And I'm just going to be right up front with everybody. If you're using that as an excuse, just go do something else, because chances are you're not going to be here very long, and just save yourself some time and your family some time, and go get that taken care of. Just for the simple fact, I got here when Corey and I got here, it was so bogged down that I had to use paper apps by Royal Neighbors for my first 3, and I only had AIG at that point. Didn't have America, didn't have anybody but paper apps for the first roughly week and a half. So if that's the case, then get some paper apps by Royal Neighbors, but just get out there and get after it and get folks protected and stay out of your own way.
I bet you 80%, and we're saying that. Thank you, Tim, for saying that. We're just saying that, guys, because we see a lot of people that are paralyzed by the information, and then they don't do anything because they're paralyzed by the information. I understand that phone can be as heavy as a brick. Guys, I pick it up. I make dials just like you guys do. I've tried dialers. I've tried all this stuff. For me, it doesn't work. So I make my own dials, do my own thing, right? But those first 3, Americo, 4 really, Americo, Prosperity, AIG, and Mutual of Omaha. And once we get these, the percentages figured out with Prosperity, that's another product that you can write from 18 to 75 up to $500,000. So if you got Prosperity pretty much day 1, AIG, Mu, and Americo, I mean, there's nothing to stop somebody from writing in their first week. There just shouldn't be. Anything else? Amy, Tim, Mark, anybody leadership has to add before we conclude?
I have a quick question about the new Prosperity term.
Sure.
Are you telling us not to send out a link yet to our team until we clarify the back end?
If you you can always go back in and move it. If you understand the email that Amy sent out, it's you can do it. You can absolutely do it. I just want to make sure I have my mind wrapped around the percentage. I know Renee asked a question as well. So Mark, if you have it, you understand what Amy sent out, fire them out. Go ahead and do
Okay.
it. Yeah, great question. Tim, Renee,
I didn't get
Salazar.
an email from Amy. Is that something that all of us in leadership should have gotten?
No, I just sent it to Corey. I told you, I just sent it to you and you, Tim and Gregory, because you guys were the only ones that I could add. I couldn't add Tim or Mark's people. So they'll
Got
have to forward that email to them, or I
Tim,
can
can
send
you
it out.
forward that email?
I mean, it's
to Renee?
the same comp structure as the other prosperity products. So it's the same spread as you would
I'm
put.
probably okay then. Don't stress on it. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just, I'm gonna do for now what I think is right.
And that's the thing. I mean, you could do whatever you want to do, but it's the same spread as the other prosperity products, I believe, or the same spread as your FFL comp to your agents comp.
So I'm kind of glad this came up too. Thank you for bringing this up, Renee.
Everybody on my end should have got it, like Mark, Renee, Christy, so on and so forth.
Okay, so I'm going to show you guys this really quick. This will probably clear a ton of this up. So prosperity, guys, as you know, the way prosperity is set up, we have to individually go out to them and enter our codes and stuff in. Again, I know there's a video out there that we've created, leadership. It's out there on YouTube. If you have any questions, you guys can contact me directly. I'll walk through this with you. Now, you guys see my screen? Somebody?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let me give you a quick example. If you start at 140, if you're at 140% comp with FFL, prosperity is going to pay 125. Okay. They're going to pay 7% for year 2 through 5, and year 6 through 10, they're going to pay 4%. Okay. 9-month advance capped at $3,000 per policy. Okay. If you're at 135, the maximum that they're going to pay out is 120. So if you're looking at the math here, guys, 130 is 115, 125 is 110. Each tier, each FFL tier, comp tier, is a 15% difference between what FFL comp and prosperity comp is. It's 15% down the board. Let me give an example. If you are at 120 and you bring somebody on at 105, when you go out to the prosperity system and send them the link, you're going to send them the link for 90%. Okay. So our 105 is prosperity's 90. So when you're doing that, just look at the percentage points that are on here. And if you guys want this, just send me a Slack and just put prosperity in it. Just put pro in there and I will send this screenshot over to you via Slack. All you have to do is Slack me and put pro and I'll get this out to you today. But you can see the difference in percentages. So just do those same percentages with that new product. Does that make sense to everybody? Because it's exactly the same. So it's very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. I know it's confusing about the way it was. We'll say the way it was rolled out. I think it was sloppy, but that's just my opinion. But we're trying to clarify some things to make sure we're all on the same page. But one thing we know for 100% unequivocally for sure is that it is the same split as it is with what way things are currently set up now. And I think that product's going to be really good for us as well.
And it's a quick fix. If for some reason they come out and tell us the comp structure is not the same, it's a quick fix to go in and adjust it. So don't stress out about it too much.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah.
It's probably not a product that, I mean, it's awesome, but that's not going to be written like nonstop. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. If it's wrong, we can go in and fix it.
Yeah. And the fact that we have a trail on a term product is pretty incredible too, because no other company does that after you get month 10, 11, and 12. So I'm sure that's one of the things Prosperity is doing to try to write more business with us, of course. Somebody wants this, just Slack me pro and I will literally get this out to you today. All right. We're definitely getting more efficient with this meeting. There was 2 questions out here I want to make sure I answer. So give me half a second, you guys. Let's see. Christy, that's funny, Christy. Then that was a question that Cecile asked about the 2 weeks. All right. Thank you guys very much for your time. If nobody else has anything to add, just make sure you guys are trying to stay as tight to the process as possible. That's so we have a process and board in place. Excuse me. Just keeps everything simple and make sure we're all doing the same thing and keeping things moving forward. So That's all I have this morning. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for asking questions, contributing. You guys be on. Bye for now. Be safe, guys.
Bye-bye.
Good luck,
Take care,
everybody.
guys.